Hello and welcome to this video where we're going to solve and find all the solutions from 0 to 2 pi for cosine squared theta is equal to -6 sine theta. I want to make sure that's clean enough. Now, as you can see, I have a calculator up here because I'm going to have it help us out just a teeny bit. Now, if we really wanted to cheat the system, you could just plug this in, and you can find out what where they intersect, and there you go, you're done. However, let's work on our trig, and let's see how we can kind of maybe crack this open. Because sometimes it is pretty straightforward to do it by hand. Now, the big issue we have is we have a cosine and a sine. And so to get them on the same page, we're going to use the trig identity sine squared plus cosine squared is equal to 1. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert my cosine squared to sine squared. So cosine squared is equal to 1 minus sine squared. And so now I'm going to go back to my equation. Instead of saying cosine squared, I'm going to say 1 minus sine squared theta is equal to -6 sine theta. All right, I've got everything in the same trig function. That's fantastic. Next step is I want everything on the same side. So I'm going to move everything over here to the right-hand side. So I have 0 is equal to sine squared theta minus 6 sine theta is, not equal to, we've already done the equal to, plus, nope, not plus, minus 1. There we go. Now, here's the thing. You may or may not be able to see it, but if we just swapped out our sine thetas for x's, we have x squared minus 6x minus 1. And this is equal to 0. We're wondering when we can, or when this will equal 0. Now, normally, or ideally, under ideal circumstances, we try to factor it, and then that makes it pretty straightforward. However, this one won't factor. Now, you could use the quadratic formula, you could go complete the square, or we can go to a calculator, and that's going to make life a lot easier for us. So I'm going to take this equation, and I'm going to type it into a calculator. So function, sine, and then I'm just going to use x, doesn't matter which variable you use for Desmos, and then we want to go squared, close your parentheses, minus 6, again, functions, sine, x, close the parentheses, minus 1. Now let's zoom out and let's see what we have here. Now keep in mind, we want our solution to be from 0 to 2 pi, and 2 pi is roughly the same as 6.28. So let's keep that in mind. Now the way we read our calculator is we want to find out where the intercepts are. Desmos does a great job doing that for you. Just tap and you find it. And so what we have is that one of them is at 3.305. And then we'll find that the other one is at 6.12. Those are our solutions that are between 0 and 2 pi. If we go to the next one, we're smaller than 0. If we go to the one after that, we are greater than 2 pi. So that doesn't work. So that is how we find our solutions.